from Twitch TV, and we're back in the saddle. It's been a shut up. This is what I have to deal with. Stop it. Alright, we're back. And so... Come on. I'm trying to do this now. Quit. So we're going to continue on with our game. So where we left off was loading our assets more abstractly. And so we'll run our tests, and we should see our tests running fine and still, hopefully. Hopefully the test didn't break while I was gone. Alright, so yes, we are fully passing. And so this is going to be kind of a quickie day before we get back fully in full force. I have some big plans for the week. So we got to kind of just ease into this, bite the sheets a little bit, and ease into it. So what we're going to do is, now that we got our asset loader and asset locator in place, we're just going to integrate it into our playground so that we're actually using it. Commonly known as eating your own dog food. So let's go eat some dog food, because dog food is freaking delicious. I know the cat loves it. And let's do this. So, I don't think we have a whole lot of dependencies. Our major dependency might be this bitmap. So let's take a look at that. Asset locator. Asset loader, asset locator. And I believe... Oh, we have to create this error manager. Did we ever create the error manager? We did not. So we're going to create the trace error manager. That's what that to get. Let's implement error manager. And this is going to be super simple. The message is dynamic, so we're just going to do trace message. And this will be our base implementation just because we need it. And so we're going to just add this to the beginning injector map. So map instance. Let's see here. I'm not getting any help here from the editor, am I? Because we need to set up our user local packs lib. User local lib packs lib. And we're looking for minject. Ooh, there's nothing in there. Ah. Alright. User lib packs lib. There we go. We're looking for minject. And now we have that noted in our editor. Should get some help now. There we go. Map singleton of error manager, and we're going to give it the trace error manager. Okay, and let's go back to our asset locator. We're going to need the object creator and asset loader. So asset loader, asset loader. Does this need any dependencies? No. So asset loader is clear, so we're going to do this. I'm going to make sure that's something with asset loader. Let's do the asset loader. The asset locator needs a, I think it should need a bitmap node. Yeah, so we create the bitmap node. So that has to be defined before. So we have our bitmap node here. So at this point, we can do injector map singleton of. I want to double check this. Asset loader. Asset locator. Net. So the net's not being called on any of these, so we got to make sure that happens. So let's do here on the asset. This is our asset loader. And our object factory. Create instance of our ca assets loader. And this asset loader. Map. So what we're going to have coming up this week is going to probably last a couple of weeks, which is we're going to add networking. And we're actually going to add the front end and back end together to this. And we're going to write tests around making sure our connection happens and that we have our everything connecting up and our tests are passing data back and forth between them, and then we're just going to set up some conditional compilation so we only test those when we really need to test some integration. Most of the time it'd be turned off, but sometimes I want to make sure that that low-level library is tested in an integration type of way. Generally stay away from any sort of external dependency, but in this case we got to make sure that two interfaces are talking to each other and then we're writing them ourselves. So kind of a special case. So let's create our asset locator equals object factory, create instance, assets, asset loader, asset locator, asset locator. Okay, so that'll set that up just fine. So in fact, we probably could, I believe, we can actually just put this here next to this stuff, because we're not going to actually create an instance of an asset between here and there, so that's safe. And you're probably wondering, with all those uses of interfaces, why we're so interested in the concrete implementation. We're only interested in the concrete implementation when we're doing this, because these are the ones that are fully aware of how the implementation works on this injection mapping. This is our concrete definition of everything. So we do want to know our details. So in this one case ever, are we interested in the details? Alright, so let's get back over here. So our first test is we'll get the music loading. It's kind of the easier of them in our current game. So we're just going to inject our asset locator. And at this point we don't know any details. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that when the asset locator is injected, we can actually load things up, which happens here when we do this. Select the inject into. So say load music. Load music. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut all this out. We're just going to remember that piece. And we're going to do this. And that should be it for now. So now we do asset locator. Get sound asset by name. There's that. And on complete. Oops. On complete, we're going to get a sound asset. So on sound loaded, cut that out. Load music, ref on sound loaded. This is going to be sound asset. Sound asset. There we we go, and we're going to rename this here to on music, because that's what we're dealing with, loaded. And we're going to play more with that later when we get into our sound manager, which we're going to abstract this back out into our sound manager. But we're just trying to make sure that our simplest case of loading an asset works. So we can do asset locator, sound asset. That's our sound data. And I believe we just do, let's just double check. Here's our sound asset. Do our load, say here, get assets, load sound, and because it's back, so if we go to our asset loader, because it's our resource count. See ya. So let's see here. Load sound or sound asset. Just going back over how we set this up. Being loaded, our asset is loaded. I think as a result, resource data. So fetch asset on complete data. So it's our dynamic. I think we could just call play on it. Let's see here. Alright, so we have here asset loader, asset locator, asset loader, asset locator. And we're inlining something that's probably this, line 54, 92. So we can't inline this. That's probably okay. And that. Asset loader line 80. Can access static field load image from a class instance. Assets loader, asset loader 19. There we go. So we can't. That seems weird. It should. Am I missing something? Weird. It's saying that if we give it that, we can't actually call load image on it. Can I access static field load image from a class instance? So it's behaving like an instance. I've never run into this before, because that should not be true. So if we do this, if not test, see if this makes a difference. No, still being grumpy. do this. Still grumpy. I think what we need to do, we need to actually do class assets. There we go. So if we do this, car dot there we go, and has no field of image. Let's see here, get assets. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Do this. No. That should do it. So it returns a class, so that wouldn't work. So what might be easier is wrapping this into an instance. Yeah, that's going to be a lot easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this into an instance. So I'm going to say if not test, I'm going to use class car assets. Public static, no, function get image. Essentially it's our mock asset loader, which is our mock assets. Mock car assets. Essentially this. So we're just gonna grab this. And what we're gonna do car assets. I'm going to say assets, car assets, load image name complete. Okay. Sound blob. So our test should still build and pass. Okay, and then we need to copy this car assets. Car assets. Car assets. This is going to return a car assets. There we go. That should just have a constructor. So we just need to add a constructor in here. Let's do it. That's our tests. Test pass. Yep. Build. Building. There we go. And now we're going to have our sound, hopefully, playing or possibly crashing. So I'll find out. Okay, so it fails on music loaded. looking at it here on music loaded, sound asset object. So I think, let's see here, we're just going to trace our sound asset, sound data, and just see what sort of information we get. All right. Nothing. We get no information here on music loaded. So I wonder if this is the sound asset by name. This is a sound asset. Let's do a quick build there with that to see if there's a difference. And what we need to find out is get asset by name, sound asset loader, asset locator, get sound asset by name. Okay, so it's returning a null resource, so that's important to know. Okay. So this is coming in as null. So it didn't find it. So let's get the sound asset by name. Fetch asset, which is name, and then it calls load sound. So I feel like the load sound might be more of the issue here. So let's go to our asset loader. Because it is actually returning. It's calling the callback, but it's not giving us any data. So where are we at here? Load sound. We're going to call get assets, load sound. Let me call it onComplete on the resource. So load resource here. If it exists, we're going to do currently loading, do our load here, and here seems interesting. Where's that data? It's a loader key. So that's that. So let's large data. Doing some debugging today, getting back into it. So we should have the data at this point. And if we don't, if that's null, which is probably likely. Okay, so we did have a sound there. Okay, so we had a sound at that point. Okay, here's our resource. And we call our callback with our resource. So that's going to come back to our asset locator. Here's our resource. Trace resource data. Maintain asset state. So here at line 85, we still have our resource data. Result here, this might be So we're not getting any logging. Trace resource data. Let's see what's going on here. Let's get the music back on. And line 90, the sound is still there. Okay. So what's left here? Return result. Maybe it's this cast that's failing? It's possible. So get sound. Where are we at? Load text. Lazy. Load sound. Get sound asset by name. So at this point, I wonder if we just run a cast on this. Sound asset. I wonder if that cast is what's failing. Return result. And actually, that would fail. That cast break didn't happen. So this should break. Looking at here, we can actually return the resource data. This returns a sound asset, which is not correct. Yeah, see? Invalid cast. So, what we need to do here, we have our result, which is our data. We actually have any implementations of sound asset. We have sound asset, we have image asset. So we don't actually have an implementation of these. So we'll just create a stick this under here. Cost sound asset. Image asset. I hate when I do that. Delete. New annex. Image asset. So there we go. This is going to implement a image asset. And I believe these are all getters, so let's get those in place. And we'll get into the implementation of these later. But we're going to need to get that. And we're going to return 0 on that. Getters. Public. So we get these into play. Hate when they put N close to M on a keyboard. Oh, crazy people. Oops, I need a sound asset. Implements. Sound asset. Hello? Oh, sound asset. Put this guy here. This is a getter. Make this a getter. Sound data. Public. And then what we need to do is we need to just pass in the sound data. Cost sound. Dynamic. This sound data equals sound data. So now we can do that. We're going to have to do the same with an image. Image data. Dynamic. This image data equals image data. There we go. Getting closer. So now our tests are technically wrong. Go away. So we need to go to asset loader, asset locator test. Now what's going on is we have this loaded sound callback. Let's go to a simple one. Should load an image. Where is it? Get asset by name. So image asset. So here, image asset is a mock image asset. We pass this an asset. So get asset by name. So how is this getting here? So load image foo cast any. Oh, here we are. Lock the image. So as the loader goes, calls load image, and this actually returns a resource. That's okay. That's fine. And then assert are equal is true. Standard is asset, image asset, which should pass because it casted. And so that passes. Okay, so it's something in the mocking that's happening. So we fetch the asset, it goes here, gonna be unloaded, etc. On complete, we pass the data. So this is a load call, which is getting the asset. So load image calls this, gets the asset loader load image, and on the results we're passing back the data specifically. It's not a sound asset. So I think see here, on our mock image, there it is. We actually pass back that. So what we need to do is we need to pass back this, which is just some random data. This should fail. There we go. So our tests are catching our error now. Now we can patch it. Say here. So now we got to make sure this matches. That's this right here. It came back as null because the cast failed. Okay, so here our result, which is going to be our data dynamic, equals that. Now we return the sound asset. New sound sound asset, cost sound asset, and don't like that. Don't like it. Because now we're tied to some type of implementation. Don't like it. Even though right now it's very abstract. The image is the one that I'm concerned with because that's going to be specific to Ka. And this is very abstract. If we do that, we'll lose some abstractness. We have an object creator, which is probably a better bet anyways. So we're going to do that. So with our test, we're just going to turn the data so it fails still. For our test, object creator, create instance, sound asset, returns a mock, returns the sound asset, and the image asset, returns an image asset. So now we've abstracted that out. So here's an image. What we need to do this test isn't quite fully there. So we're going to change this to set. And the image asset here, we're going to change this to a setter as well. Taking out the constructor. We don't want that side effect. Setter here. Change this to a variable. Var. Okay. That is var. Okay. Set. And we need a setter here. And we're going to take out this dependency. Well, that's side effect of dependency. And now that works there. This is here. Data. Should still fail. So here, 951. Oh, because it's not a class. So what we need to do is returns. It's a mock. Returns. Okay, so we're still failing the same spots. So now what we do is say object creator. So this is going to be our sound asset. Actually, we need to do this here. Data. We need to do it up here. Load image. Our data equals this. Return data. And var image asset equals object creator instance image asset image asset image asset image data equals data, and then we return the image asset. And we're going to essentially build the same thing here for the load sound, and that failed. So image asset, sound asset, image data. That's fine. Okay, so what's the issue here? Let's just return this to its original state. Okay. Image asset. What's the problem here? Okay, I feel like it's something to do with this. Okay, so that's failing right away. Let's return data real quick. Let's figure out why this is failing. Okay, so that's failing, so let's figure out this part. That should be null on the image asset. Something is a mess here. So, is there a point when the object creator is null? Yes, that test. So at what point could object creator be null? Let me assign it everywhere. This is going to be tricky. So, we need to know can we do this? We can do if object creator throw error. No, that's not gonna work. Okay, so let's do that. We need to know the stack of this thing. So we are getting a null object creator. What could that be? It's a sign in every case. Should be anyways. So the only thing I can think of is this dispose, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm going to see if that is the case. Yes. We are getting a case where the object creator is null. Probably this one, I just uncommented. Yeah, so we're doing a test. So this is good. We actually caught an error with our tests by doing this. This is fantastic. So what's going on is we're loading all this stuff in, and then we're actually disposing it. And then we're getting our callback from our asset loader, and it's calling this because we weren't able to cancel it. So what we can do is don't want to return null. In fact, the callback technically should not be happening because we are canceling it. So here, so we got load image, so we do need to handle this in some way, in some form. Assuming that this comes back. Here, when we call are we canceling? Yeah, we are canceling asset loader, cancel. So even if there's, basically we're counting on if it being buggy, which is kind of a drag. Cancel fails. So what we'll do, where's our load image? Load image. Get lazy asset, and it happens up. Get asset by name. Fetch asset, we call load image. If loaded map is not equal to null. So that's actually going to happen. So what we need to do is we need to make sure if object creator is equal to null, turn null. Otherwise, do this business. All right. Thought someone would call this back, our loaded map will be null. Therefore, the callback will never happen. So here, let's return our data. I think it's because we have some mocking stuff commented out. Yeah, it's going to be this here. Yeah, so this is back to its original state. So if we do this, there we go. So we got 3 fails, and that's because of here we have Dispose. We got a lot of interesting fails. Image locked. This is on the, what is it here? Should show image if it was unable to load. So it's 85. Return error message with message if offset unable to load. So let's come back to that one. 164. Let's see what we got going here. Was not null. Get lazy asset. That looks promising as well. If image asset is not equal to no image asset. So here. This is our resource. Okay, let's find out what this one. Let's go to 95. So our image asset dispose. Should dispose asset if it has image asset if has been fully disposed. So asset locator. Okay, here we go. Asset by name. So this would just call get once. Dispose asset foo. Zero. Okay, so mock image asset dispose. It was invoked 0. So 295. So it's this. So we're getting a strangeness going on. So much strange. So fetch. Current being loaded. We're going to do our load call. Which is that? Which is load image. Is returning an image asset, which is what we want. Resource. Resource gives us the resource data. Let's see what this says. We're getting all sorts of stuff here. Okay, we're gonna have to continue this on tomorrow because I'm late for my day job. So let's keep this in this state here, and we'll fix this tomorrow. All right, so you guys, this week's gonna be a big week. After we get this solved, just want to get this integrated into our game. We're gonna get into networking this week, and I'm sticking to it. So stay tuned, and we're gonna start getting this game and a backend start talking to each other. And I feel like it's going to be a big step. So You guys have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.